Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we break down the nitty-gritty of company filings to see what is really going on under the hood. Today we're rediving into Natural Alternatives International Incorporated, latest 10K report for the fiscal year ending the 30th of June 2025. Get ready because this report has some interesting numbers and a few things to watch out for, so make sure you are subscribed. And if you like getting straight insights from corporate documents, don't forget to join our Discord community linked in the description. This is a report from Natural Alternatives International Incorporated, ticker symbol NAI. They're in the business of making nutritional supplements for other companies, kind of like a silent partner behind many of the products you see on the shelves. They also have a unique angle with their patented beta, alanine ingredient carnosine, which they sell directly and license to others. Let's jump right into the numbers. Looking at their balance sheets for the fiscal year ending the 30th of June 2025, we see total assets coming in at about $151.9 million. Compare that to $162.3 million in 2024. So a bit of a decrease there. Now, when we look at liabilities, they had total liabilities of around $83.5 million in 2025, up slightly from $79.7 million in 2024. Accounts receivable decreased to $14.6 million from $16.8 million the previous year. That is generally a good sign, meaning they might be collecting payments from customers a bit faster. On the other side of the coin, stockholders' equity took a bit of a hit, going from $82.5 million in 2024 down to $68.4 million in 2025. This is largely due to a significant net loss reported for the year. And speaking of net loss, the company reported a net loss of $13.5 million for fiscal 2025. This is quite a jump from the $7.2 million loss in fiscal 2024. It seems that even though their net sales increased by a healthy 14% to $129.8 million from $113.7 million in 2024, their expenses grew even faster. Their cost of goods sold went up by about 13% to $120.5 million. That is mostly in line with the sales increase, but the real story is their other expenses. Selling general and administrative expenses, excluding a big legal settlement, climbed 7%. But that settlement itself added another $1.4 million. This all resulted in a loss from operations of $8.6 million, similar to the $8.5 million loss in 2024. But the increase in other expenses like foreign currency losses and interest expenses pushed the overall loss before income taxes to $10.7 million. And a big factor contributing to the increased net loss was a significant jump in income tax provision, going from a benefit of $2.2 million in 2024 to a provision of $2.8 million in 2025. This was heavily influenced by a $4.8 million valuation allowance they had to record against their deferred tax assets. Basically, they did not believe they would be able to use those future tax benefits due to recent losses. Now let's look at cash flow. It is a bit of a mixed bag. Net cash provided by operating activities was $5.9 million in 2025, a good improvement from the $1.5 million used in operating activities in 2024. This seems driven by better working capital management, especially in accounts receivable not tying up as much cash. Investing activities used $3.6 million in 2025, compared to $3 million in 2024, mainly due to capital expenditures for things like solar panels on their facilities. Financing activities used $1.9 million in 2025, a change from providing $2.8 million in 2024. This reflects paying down some of their line of credit. Net loss per common share ended up being a negative $2.28 in 2025, a significant drop from negative $1.23 in 2024. They are using some financial instruments like forward contracts to manage currency risks, which is standard practice for companies with international operations. For example, they had Euro forward contracts as current assets and liabilities, and Swiss franc contracts too. These are basically bets on currency movements to protect their bottom line. Looking at some of the risks, a big one is customer concentration. They have 3 major customers that make up a huge chunk of their sales, about 59% of their consolidated net sales in 2025. Losing even one of these clients could seriously hurt them. They are also dependent on a single supplier for their key beta, alanine ingredient, which is always a risky situation. The report highlights a lot of risks, typical for a manufacturing company in the supplement industry. Things like economic downturns affecting consumer spending, volatile commodity prices, competition, and of course, government regulations. They also talk about cybersecurity risks, which are becoming increasingly important for all businesses. Their operations in Switzerland are significant, with a large manufacturing facility there. They extended leases on some of their properties, showing a continued investment in their European presence. In terms of stock, they have around 6.1 million shares outstanding. They did not pay any dividends and do not plan to. They also did not repurchase any shares in 2025, apart from buying back shares from employees to cover tax withholding on restricted stock. The company is clearly working to diversify its income. While private label contract manufacturing is their bread and butter, bringing in $121.7 million or 94% of their net sales in 2025. They are also trying to grow their patent and trademark licensing revenue, which brought in about $8 million. They are investing in new product formulations for their beta, alanine to capture more market share in the wellness and healthy aging sectors. The overall financial picture shows they are struggling with profitability. The net loss widened considerably in 2025, and their earnings per S-hair turned more negative. While they generated positive cash flow from operations in 2025, the overall financial health seems to be under pressure. A significant item on their income statement is the $1.4 million expense related to a legal settlement for that Paga claim we saw earlier. This definitely impacted their bottom line for the year. They have accrued the maximum settlement amount of $1.25 million. Now, let's talk about the overall direction of the company. Natural Alternatives International is in a tough but growing industry. Their focus on quality certifications and expanding their patent portfolio is a good strategy. However, the widening net loss and dependence on a few large customers are major weaknesses. The increased expenses, especially the income tax provision due to the valuation allowance, highlight the challenges they faced in 2025. The company is definitely trying to innovate with new product formulations and market penetration, which is positive, but they need to get their expenses under control and reduce their reliance on a small number of clients to turn a profit and strengthen their financial position. Until they can demonstrate consistent profitability and a more diversified revenue stream, it will be tough for them to truly thrive. So, what is your take on Natural Alternatives International? latest report, are they on the right track with their innovation, or are the financial numbers a red flag? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this deep dive helpful, please smash that like button and subscribe for more corporate breakdowns we do every week. And remember to check out our Discord community, linked in the description for even more insights and discussions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.